Anthra 10 subwoofer is a compact yet powerful little subwoofer. It's engineered to deliver deep, agile bass in small to medium-sized spaces. Spaces like mine. Their Anthra 10 is one of 3 subwoofers from Modern Audio's Anthra range. Above it sits the Anthra 12, which I previously reviewed, and the Anthra 15. It features a 500-watt Class D amplifier and a 10-inch high-excursion C-cam driver. It can be used on its own or linked up with up to 3 other Anthra subwoofers for what I can imagine is the best life ever. And if you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing to the channel, it'll help me out a ton and help me get more products like this in for review. Cheers. As is usual for monitor audio, but less so usual for subwoofers, is this thing's beautiful. It's a smallish, glossy black box. It measures 12.5 inches cubed. On the front is the driver. It's a front-firing driver, and this one is black as well. And I mention it because Modern Audio's drivers, especially in the silver range, which this one has the same dimples of, those drivers are white. So having a black driver on their subwoofer is a nice touch. And incidentally, if you were to get this subwoofer in white, as it does come in white, the driver remains black. So if I had my choice, I think I'd go black on black. You also get a magnetic circular grille, which protects the driver from dust and then also my kids' feet as they're running by, but for most of my listening, I just left the grille off. Around the back, you'll find a 2-inch full-color LCD screen with a rotary dial for menu selection and basic setup. You also get RCA inputs left and right, and the left input is LFE. The RCA inputs allow for the aforementioned daisy chaining of up to 4 subs. You also get XLR inputs for more professional installation, and yes, you can also daisy chain with XLRs. And I wonder if they'll ever send me 4 subs so I can actually try out the daisy chain. Please? The cabinet is made from braced 18mm thick MDF with 36mm front baffle, and the frequency response is 17 Hz to 400 Hz. So since I only had this for 3 weeks, I quickly got it unboxed, downloaded the Maestro Unite app, and then I got started. Inside the app, you have 3 custom EQ curves and then 3 user-defined ones. I wasn't going to futz with the user-defined ones, I really just wanted to hear the subwoofer and get it integrated quickly. I dialed in the sub to 19% and then chose the music slope. I liked impact as well for movies, but I did leave it in music for the majority of my listening. And then, yes, of course, I use this with the Modern Audio Studio 89 speakers because I had those in as well. For reference, I own 2 different subwoofers. First is the Q Acoustics QB12. It's a 12-inch 220-watt subwoofer. It's fairly large. And then I also have the B&W 610. It's a 10-inch 200-watt subwoofer. Most of the time, I prefer using my B&W 610 because it has a more compact size and integrates better into my living room. And I'm a bass head, so I ran through some of my favorite bass tunes, starting off with Scuba's Vulpine remix of Emika's Drop the Other. If you saw my Studio 89 review, you'll know that I dropped this tune in that review, but I was looking at this subwoofer differently because while there are layers of bass, what I was more interested in is the big pulsating sub that drops in this tune, and when it did drop, I was taken aback on how much bass presence there was in my room, especially the fact that there was more punch to the bass where it stopped and started faster in comparison to my B&W 610 that I regularly use. And what's more astonishing is the fact that it has similar size dimensions, though double the power, how much faster the bass is and how much more there is present. I found myself running back some more old dubstep favorites as the earlier stuff had a lot more space in the mix, allowing the bass to take prominence. Take Anti-War Dub from Mala. There's a sub straight from the jump in this song, and the usual rattling and strain that I hear from my B&W 610 sub is quite simply not present. And so it's a pleasure to hear a lot of my favorite songs, again with a more competent subwoofer in place. Ditto for Echo Dub from Skeptical. This one's a bit more impactful, but when the sub kicks in, it's heavenly. And yes, it trounces my aging, a bit long in the tooth B&W 610, but then also when I switched to the QB12 from Q Acoustics, larger driver, the Modern Audio just feels faster and more responsive with this track. I enjoy it more. Alien Romulus is hot garbage, but with this sub in play, the explosions had way more impact, but even when things weren't blowing up and there was just low frequency rumble and effects going on, it made movies in 2-channel mode via the Studio 89s just feel bigger. In all, I think this is a great compact sub for a compact space. But no, I think this is a great compact sub that can be used in a compact space, but you can pretty much use it in any size space of your choosing, just depends on what your needs are. But if you wanted a sub that put out a hell of a lot of bass, that didn't take up a big footprint, but then also in the future could be daisy chained to other subwoofers, you should totally look at this one. At $2,600, it definitely sits more on the luxury tier of subwoofers. Yes, you can get a bigger subwoofer with more output for less money, sure. But if you didn't want a giant black box in your room, then a more compact offering is better suited to you. I really like this subwoofer, so much so that I have asked for it back for a longer period of time because, to be honest, it'll come useful in my space. Thanks for watching.